What if the protein sitting in your kitchen right now is secretly sabotaging every single muscle gain you worked for? Most people believe all protein is equal, but that single assumption is destroying their results every single day. The truth is, your body treats different proteins in completely different ways that most people never fully understand. That gap in understanding is exactly why some people build impressive muscle fast, while others stay stuck forever. Today, everything changes because you are about to learn what actually separates real muscle growth from wasted effort. By the end of this, you will know precisely which protein your body needs to grow faster than ever. But before anything else, let us get one foundational truth completely clear, because it changes everything you think you know. Your total daily protein intake matters more than anything else when it comes to actually building serious muscle. If you are not consistently hitting your daily protein target, nothing else in this conversation even slightly matters yet. But once that foundation is locked in, the type of protein you choose becomes the real game-changing decision. That is when the small details begin separating the people who build muscle fast from everyone who stays behind. So the real question now becomes this: which protein gives your body the best environment to actually grow? The answer is hidden inside something called essential amino acids, and most people in fitness completely overlook this entirely. Essential amino acids are nutrients your body simply cannot produce on its own, no matter what you do. You have to consume them through food, which means every single food choice you make directly controls your muscle growth. When your body receives enough essential amino acids, the entire muscle-building process can finally begin working the way it should. Without them, no amount of hard training in the gym will ever produce the muscle results you actually want. This is where a landmark study published in the journal Nutrients becomes critically important for every single person reading this today. Researchers reviewed 16 different papers in one large systematic review, and the findings were absolutely impossible to ignore or dismiss. Animal protein consistently and significantly outperformed plant-based protein when it came to building overall lean body mass across participants. The reason was simple and direct. Animal proteins naturally contain a higher abundance of essential amino acids throughout every single serving. More essential amino acids in your food means more raw building blocks are always available for your muscles to use. It is honestly that straightforward. Yet so many people in the fitness world still miss this fundamental point completely today. But essential amino acid content alone does not tell the full story. And what comes next changes everything even further. Your body also needs to actually absorb those amino acids properly. Otherwise, every gram of protein you eat is completely wasted. This concept is called bioavailability, and it measures exactly how much of the protein your body genuinely uses after eating. You could eat the most protein-rich food in the entire world, but low bioavailability silently ruins all your progress. A paper published in Current Opinions in Clinical Nutrition broke this down with a level of scientific precision rarely seen. Animal proteins showed a bioavailability of around 92%, which is already an impressively high number by any scientific standard. Plant proteins, on the other hand, averaged around 80% bioavailability across most of the cases studied in that research. That 12% gap might sound small on paper, but across weeks and months, it compounds into a massive, undeniable difference. Think about this carefully. Every single meal, you could unknowingly be leaving serious muscle-building potential completely abandoned behind you. Now, here is where things get genuinely fascinating. And this is something almost no fitness content ever actually digs into. How a food is physically processed directly changes how well your body can absorb the protein contained inside it. A plant protein ground into fine powder absorbs noticeably better than eating that exact same food in its whole form. But with animal proteins, processing made almost no meaningful difference to absorption levels in the studies that examined this closely. Whey protein and meat protein both consistently landed at around 92 to 94% bioavailability, regardless of processing method used. Eggs came in slightly lower at around 89%, which still makes them an excellent and highly reliable protein choice. Chickpea protein, however, dropped all the way down to around 74%, which is a genuinely significant and costly difference. Research using rodent models pushed things even further and uncovered results that are absolutely worth understanding if you care about results. Goat whey protein reached an astonishing 96% bioavailability in those detailed animal studies, which is a remarkable scientific finding. Brown rice protein sat at around 85%, while pea protein surprised many researchers by ranging between 90 and 94%. So pea protein is actually much closer to animal protein in absorption than most people in the fitness world currently realize. But there is still one more critical layer to this entire story, and it might honestly be the most important of all. Beyond absorption rates and amino acid content, there is one specific amino acid that controls whether muscle growth actually happens at all. That amino acid is called leucine, and it functions like the ignition key that starts the entire muscle-building engine inside you. Without enough leucine present in a meal, your body never truly enters the muscle-building phase, regardless of everything else you consume. Leucine activates something called mTOR, which is essentially your body's internal signaling system specifically designed to trigger new muscle tissue growth. When mTOR gets activated by leucine, your body flips a powerful switch and immediately begins the process of building brand new tissue. This is exactly why leucine is called the anabolic switch in research, because that is literally and precisely what it does. But here is something critically important that most people get completely wrong about leucine and the entire muscle-building process around it. You cannot simply take pure leucine or branched-chain amino acids alone and expect to actually build real, meaningful muscle from it. Leucine flips the switch and starts the process, yes, but essential amino acids are what do the actual physical building work. Think of leucine as the spark plug that fires the engine, and essential amino acids as the actual fuel it needs to run. Without the fuel, the spark plug fires perfectly, but the engine has absolutely nothing to run on and goes absolutely nowhere. This is precisely why a complete protein source that contains both leucine and essential amino acids is so incredibly powerful for results. And this is exactly where whey protein begins to truly and undeniably separate itself from every single other available protein option. Whey protein has the highest leucine content of any natural protein source that currently exists anywhere in the nutritional world today. It also carries a full, rich, and complete essential amino acid profile that covers every single thing your muscles could possibly need. Combined with its outstanding bioavailability, whey protein becomes something close to a near-perfect muscle-building tool for anyone who trains seriously. But the story does not end there, because there is one more powerful and fascinating piece that most people never hear about. Have you ever heard of the thermic effect of food? Most people have never thought carefully or deeply about what this means. The thermic effect is simply the number of calories your body actually burns just to digest and process the food you eat. Different foods require very different amounts of energy to break down, and protein burns the most of any macronutrient by far. But here's the twist almost no one talks about. Not all proteins produce the exact same thermic effect during digestion. A study published in Clinical Nutrition compared whey protein directly against casein protein in a head-to-head controlled research environment. The findings were genuinely eye-opening for anyone who cares about both building muscle and staying as lean as humanly possible. Whey protein generated more heat and burned significantly more calories during the digestion process compared to casein in every measurement taken. This means that for every 100 grams consumed, more total calories are burned simply from the act of digesting whey protein. That is an additional bonus effect stacked directly on top of every single muscle-building benefit that whey protein already uniquely provides. Now, higher protein oxidation does technically mean some amino acids could be lost as heat rather than used for direct muscle building. But that effect actually works strongly in your favor when your primary and focused goal is burning body fat while preserving muscle. More heat generated from digestion means more total calories burned throughout the day, which directly and powerfully supports any real fat loss goal. So whey protein is not just the best available option for building muscle, it actively and measurably helps you stay lean simultaneously. That is what makes it such an extraordinarily powerful nutritional tool for anyone trying to achieve both goals at the exact same time. But the most important insight from this research is something called postprandial leucine abundance. And understanding it changes how you eat forever. This measures the actual amount of leucine circulating in your bloodstream after you have finished fully digesting your protein-containing meal. The higher that number is after eating, the stronger and longer the anabolic signal your entire body receives from that single meal. More circulating leucine after a meal equals a stronger, longer, and more productive muscle protein synthesis response from your body overall. Whey protein produces the highest postprandial leucine levels of any protein source that has ever been carefully studied and measured scientifically. This means your muscles receive the strongest possible growth signal specifically and consistently after you consume whey protein in any given meal. And the effect does not stop there, because essential amino acids then extend the entire muscle-building process significantly further beyond that initial trigger. While leucine triggers the initial and powerful anabolic response, essential amino acids keep muscle protein synthesis running and productive for much longer. Think of leucine as the spark that lights the fire, and essential amino acids as the wood that keeps the fire burning. This powerful dual action is what makes whey protein uniquely and undeniably superior compared to absolutely every other protein source available today. Nothing else currently combines the leucine trigger with such a rich, complete, and high-quality essential amino acid profile at the same time. Now let us connect all of this directly back to fat loss, because the two goals are far more deeply linked than people realize. The more lean muscle you carry on your body, the higher your resting metabolic rate becomes every single day without exception. A higher resting metabolism means you burn more total calories, even while sitting completely still and doing absolutely nothing physical whatsoever. Building muscle is therefore one of the most powerful and sustainable long-term strategies for losing body fat and permanently keeping it off. Whatever protein best supports muscle building is automatically and directly the best protein available for supporting your fat-burning goals as well. They are two sides of the exact same coin, and whey protein serves both sides of that coin remarkably and consistently well. Now, the practical question becomes, when and how should you actually be consuming whey protein throughout your day for maximum real results? Most people mistakenly believe whey is only useful immediately after finishing a workout, but that thinking is unnecessarily limiting and incomplete. The research tells a far more interesting and actionable story that should completely change how you think about your daily protein timing. Yes, consuming whey around your training window remains a smart and well-supported nutritional decision, backed by solid and consistent scientific evidence. But the real and underutilized opportunity lies in pairing whey protein alongside your regular everyday whole food meals throughout the entire day. Here is a practical, real-world example that makes this concept immediately clear and easy to apply, starting from your very next meal. Say you are sitting down for dinner with chicken breast, white rice, and a side of fresh steamed vegetables on your plate. That is already a solid and nutritious meal with decent protein and a good foundation for supporting muscle growth and recovery. But if you add a small whey protein shake alongside that meal, something genuinely interesting and scientifically significant actually happens inside your body. The additional leucine provided by the whey actively amplifies the muscle protein synthesis response that was already triggered by the chicken breast. You are not simply adding more protein on top of protein and assuming that alone is somehow sufficient for optimal muscle building results. You are strategically and intelligently enhancing the entire anabolic signal of the meal with one single, surprisingly simple and affordable addition. Research has directly shown that leucine consumed alongside a mixed meal can measurably increase how effectively the body utilizes all protein eaten. In plain terms, the whey protein actually makes the chicken in that same meal even more effective at building your muscle tissue. That is one small daily habit with a surprisingly powerful and compounding impact on your overall muscle building results over meaningful time. And almost nobody is currently doing this consistently, which means it represents a genuine, real, and immediately actionable edge for you. Now let us also talk about the different forms of whey, because not all whey protein products are created equal or identical. Whey concentrate is the least processed form, and typically contains some remaining fat and lactose alongside the actual protein content itself. It is also usually the most affordable option available, making it a perfectly solid choice for most beginners who are just starting out. Whey isolate has been filtered further, removing most of the fat and lactose to create a cleaner and more concentrated protein product. This makes isolate the better and more comfortable option for anyone who experiences digestive sensitivity or discomfort when consuming dairy-based protein products. Whey hydrolysate is the most heavily processed form, broken down into smaller peptide chains specifically engineered for the absolute fastest possible absorption. It absorbs the quickest of all three available forms, but it also comes at a noticeably higher price point for the consumer. For most people, whey concentrate or isolate will comfortably deliver more than enough benefit at a very reasonable and accessible cost overall. The practical difference in results between concentrate and hydrolysate is simply not worth the significantly higher financial investment for the vast majority of people. Focus relentlessly on consistency over chasing perfection, especially when you are first building your foundational nutritional habits and daily routines around protein. A consistent, moderate approach, executed daily, will always produce better long-term results than an inconsistent, perfect approach attempted only occasionally. Now, let us talk about protein timing with more real depth and practical honesty than most fitness content ever chooses to provide. There used to be a widespread belief that you had a strict 30-minute anabolic window immediately after finishing your training session. The idea was that missing that narrow window would cause you to lose the muscle gains you worked so incredibly hard for. The research has since clearly shown that this window is actually far wider than anyone originally believed or commonly communicated to the public. You likely have several comfortable hours after training where consuming protein remains highly effective for both muscle recovery and ongoing muscle growth. What matters dramatically more than obsessing over precise timing is simply consuming enough high-quality protein consistently and reliably throughout your entire day. Spreading your total protein intake across 3 to 5 evenly spaced meals tends to best optimize your overall muscle protein synthesis rates. Each protein-rich meal functions as an independent anabolic trigger, continuously signaling your body to build, repair, and strengthen your existing muscle tissue. This is exactly why meal frequency matters more for serious muscle growth than most casually informed fitness enthusiasts currently understand or acknowledge. One enormous protein meal per day is dramatically less effective than spreading that same total protein across multiple well-structured and timed meals. Your body can only effectively use a limited amount of protein from any single sitting specifically for active muscle-building purposes at once. Everything beyond that useful ceiling gets used for energy production or eliminated, which is a genuinely wasteful and inefficient nutritional approach overall. Aim for roughly 30 to 40 grams of high-quality protein per individual meal for truly optimal and consistent muscle protein synthesis results. This reliable range consistently triggers the leucine threshold required to fully activate mTOR and initiate the actual tissue-building growth process effectively. Lower amounts may fail to fully trigger that anabolic response, leaving real and compounding muscle-building potential completely untapped and wasted every single day. This is exactly why chronically undereating protein at any individual meal is a costly mistake you absolutely want to consistently and permanently avoid. Every single meal you eat represents a genuine opportunity to either powerfully support muscle growth or quietly and unnecessarily miss a valuable chance. With this mindset firmly in place, nutrition becomes a real strategic tool rather than just a passive and mindless daily habit. Now let us directly address the common and reasonable question about combining plant proteins together to create a more nutritionally complete protein source. Yes, combining different plant proteins meaningfully improves the overall amino acid profile of a plant-based meal in a real and measurable way. Rice protein and pea protein combined together, for example, create a significantly more complete and balanced overall amino acid profile when consumed together. This smart combination is precisely why many quality plant-based protein powders now deliberately and intentionally blend these two specific sources together. The result is a product that gets substantially closer to whey protein in terms of amino acid completeness and overall nutritional quality. But even with this intelligent combination strategy, whey protein still edges meaningfully ahead in leucine content and overall bioavailability by a measurable margin. For those who genuinely cannot consume dairy for any reason, a high-quality pea and rice blend remains the single best plant alternative available. Supplement it with additional leucine where practically possible, and you can close the performance gap meaningfully and consistently over dedicated and committed time. But if dairy is not an issue for you personally, there is simply no compelling scientific reason to avoid or replace whey protein. It is the most studied, most proven, and most efficient protein source available anywhere on the entire global nutritional supplement market today. Yet so many people overlook it entirely in favor of trendy and heavily marketed alternatives that have dramatically less rigorous research supporting them. Do not chase novelty or marketing trends when the single, scientifically best option has been sitting right in front of you all along. The fundamentals work consistently. They have always worked. They will keep working, regardless of whatever new trend happens to be popular right now. Now here is something else genuinely worth addressing directly: the powerful relationship between protein quality and your overall long-term body composition results. Body composition is not simply about losing fat or gaining muscle as two separate and independent goals pursued at completely different times. It is fundamentally about the ratio between both, and actively improving that ratio consistently over time is what truly matters most. The more lean muscle you carry relative to your body fat, the healthier, stronger, and more metabolically capable your entire body becomes. High-quality protein like whey actively helps you build and intelligently preserve lean muscle tissue even during a calorie-restricted cutting phase. This protection is absolutely critical because during any serious fat loss phase, your body faces a real and significant risk of losing muscle. Without consistently sufficient high-quality protein, your body may begin breaking down your hard-earned muscle tissue for energy, instead of primarily burning fat. This makes you progressively weaker over time, and simultaneously slows your metabolism, making continued fat loss increasingly harder and more frustrating as you go. Whey protein actively and measurably prevents this dangerous muscle breakdown, while still allowing effective and consistent fat loss to continue uninterrupted. This protective effect is called muscle sparing, and it is one of the most underrated and underappreciated benefits of consistently using whey protein. Athletes who maintain higher protein intakes during calorie-restricted cutting phases consistently and measurably preserve significantly more muscle than those who do not. The visual result is a noticeably leaner, more defined, and more impressive physique at the conclusion of any serious cutting phase. This is the true and complete power of understanding protein quality and choosing it with genuine intention and scientific knowledge behind every decision. It helps you achieve dramatically more with less. Less body fat, more muscle, better performance everywhere, and a measurably faster resting metabolism daily. All of this happens simply from making one consistent and informed decision about which protein you choose to prioritize every single day. And everything starts with one foundational and life-changing nutritional decision: making high-quality whey protein a permanent part of your daily eating routine. Some people worry that consuming too much protein over time will eventually cause kidney damage or long-term health complications for otherwise healthy individuals. This concern is largely unfounded and scientifically unsupported for healthy individuals who have no pre-existing kidney-related health conditions or diagnosed medical issues. Decades of rigorous research on high-protein diets have consistently and repeatedly shown them to be completely safe for healthy, active individuals. Higher protein intakes are consistently associated in research with meaningfully better overall body composition and even measurably stronger bone density over time. So high protein intake is not only safe, it actively comes with meaningful additional health benefits that extend well beyond just building muscle. Do not ever allow outdated nutritional myths to prevent you from consuming the quality and quantity of protein your body genuinely needs. Your muscles need consistent, high-quality protein to grow, recover fully, and perform at their absolute best day after demanding day, without compromise. Now you understand exactly which protein delivers that quality most efficiently, most completely, and most powerfully of every available option studied to date. The path forward is genuinely and refreshingly clear. Prioritize whey protein, pair it intelligently with whole foods, and stay absolutely consistent every day. Do not overcomplicate the process or get lost chasing minor optimizations when the major fundamentals are not yet firmly and consistently in place. The best nutrition plan is simply the one you can honestly and realistically commit to executing with consistency and discipline every single day. Simple, effective, backed by decades of the strongest available science, and proven across millions of real people who have applied it consistently. Take this knowledge, apply it with genuine intention starting today, and begin seriously building the body you have been working toward all along. The research is completely and unambiguously on your side. The strategy is clear and proven. The only remaining variable is your consistent daily action. Small daily choices made with knowledge and intention compound silently into massive and life-changing results over meaningful time, without exception or failure. This is the single most powerful and reliable truth in all of fitness, nutrition, and long-term physical transformation combined into one simple idea. Choose quality protein with intention. Train with consistent and focused effort. Stay genuinely committed to the process every day without negotiation or excuse. The results will come, they will compound, and they will exceed every single expectation you previously held about what your body can actually achieve.